Flyover State of Film was shot in front of a live studio audience.
And we're live! Welcome to the Flyover State of Film. I'm your host this evening, Jusef, and let me tell you, women be shopping. Women be shopping. Women. You know, guys, whenever you go out with your woman and she tells you that she's going to go shopping, women be shopping. Am I right, guys?
Yeah, I know that. Also,
I'm sorry, guys. I'm just warming up my bike because I'm gonna be a stand-up comedian again.
you
TJ
getting back in
a
the
couple of
game,
gigs.
bro?
Yeah,
Back in
TJ
the
booked a
game?
couple of gigs, and I really want to just ride his coattails, roll all the way to the top.
Oh,
So as always, I have my guys here with me, TJ, Joe, and Brian.
Hey,
Welcome to
Hey
the
guys,
stand-up
I just want
hour.
to say, everybody, I want to have wish a real happy 9/11 to y'all. Let's celebrate with a little bit of the bubbly.
A little bit of the bubbly. So how's it been with you guys?
I'm so lonely,
How's it been?
I don't know about women be shopping.
Women be shopping.
Guys, 9/11 can fuck now.
Dude, let me open mic your fucking sets, man. I'll MC that shit.
I just need you to just.
I'll just
You know what?
MC
I'm
it, man.
tired of y'all. This is some bullshit. Funny can't be funny anymore. Y'all too sensitive. I want to be up here trying to do my 9/11, my edgy 9/11 material, and you guys are censoring me. I'm like Dave Chappelle. I'm gonna become the new hero of the right wing, and my speech is free. I got the freest speech. You know how I got that? Because I'm a patriot. Because after 9/11, I knew exactly who to throw in the gulag. That reminds me, Jusef. What was it like after 9/11 for you, my man?
It was great. Everybody, I was so lucky. So many random checks fall on me. I don't know if it's because of my name or my beard, but I'm very lucky in that sense. My bags are always open and my underwear is always unfolded.
Also, the other thing that I was desperate to find out, because I need this for context, Joe, what grade were you in when 9/11 happened?
Oh, good question.
The fourth.
Oh my God! I was living by myself in my own apartment.
I was in ninth grade.
Now you're a pedophile.
I knew it. I knew it would be young, but I wasn't prepared for it to be the age of child that I currently have. That is very upsetting.
The age where you generally cannot understand what the hell's going on.
Right, you're like, whoa, like, are we going? We're going home? Are we going home? I guess.
Yeah, it was very. I think I was in the 8th grade actually. So I don't know. I don't think we have a lot of news today. I'm gonna skip news, and I'm gonna warm up with the guys with a little quick game to test their Spanish knowledge, because this is the most English I've talked in almost 2 weeks.
Ooh.
I don't know if you remember from our closing episode. If you're gonna do a previously on Flyover State of Film, I drove over 20 hours to Mexico, and now I'm living in Mexico, San Antonio, Mexico. So
seems fitting.
I've been just talking in Spanish, so I wanted to test.
Finally home. You're finally home, right?
I'm finally home, man. I literally ate 6 tacos before I came here, and I'm drinking a beer with Mexican symbols on it. So I'm in. I'm in.
Very authentic. Very authentic.
And
Put a lime
wanted
in it.
to test. I wanted to test the knowledge of this guy from the Spanish. So I'm gonna say
Wait,
the
Yusef.
movies that we've seen. What's up?
Yusef. It's pronounced cerveza, not beer.
Cerveza.
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 Yes, you're taking a
Birra.
survey about the different names. It's
Wow.
where you ask a series of questions, right?
Sí.
Survey.
Cerveza.
Una birra. So I'm gonna say the movies. Some movies. I'm not that into this bit to say them all. Some movies that we've already watched, and I'm going to say the words in Spanish, literal translation. I'm not going to try to make sense of it, just word for word in Spanish, and you guys are going to try to guess the movie. Just yell out your name. Be considerate of our listeners. Don't say it too loud. All right. The first
Just get
movie,
excited.
Martes Ataca.
Joe.
Oh crap! I
Yo,
didn't say my name. I just said the answer. Sorry, guys. Sorry. My bad.
Drive angry. Drive angry.
no,
Oh damn.
Brian.
What? Wasn't it Mars Attacks?
Yeah,
Did
Brian.
I miss it?
I think either Joe did a bit or he didn't really
Mars
know it.
Attacks.
I did. I did. Maybe I didn't. Maybe I didn't know. I don't know.
Brian, nobody gets a point. All right,
Maybe we need to hear the rules again. I don't know. We're not doing very good.
just say your
We're
name.
rusty. We never start the show off with a game.
Yeah,
Usually.
fuck the news, bro. Hashtag.
Yeah,
fake
you
news.
skipped over that news that Joe specifically said he wanted to talk about. We'll get back around to you, Joe. Don't worry.
Thanks, man.
He'll say it. I think TJ's doing a bit. He can include it in his bit. All right, so next one, Policía Robótica.
Joe.
Yeah,
RoboCop.
yeah, Joe.
God damn it! I thought I knew Spanish. I work in a restaurant.
Next,
What's fucking racist?
Well, no, he's specifically Cadoba, though. I mean,
Yeah.
come on.
if I'm gonna say like carne or pollo, he's gonna be like
Barbacoa.
I'm on that. I know them shits.
leyendas urbanas.
Joe.
Yeah.
The Urbanus. Oh shit.
Brian.
Yeah.
Brian.
Urban Legends.
Yeah,
Oh,
bro.
I forgot we watched that movie.
I feel like he's got a translator on his computer right now.
Next one. El Fanático.
TJ.
Joe.
Brian. Oh.
TJ.
The Desperado.
The fan.
Brian.
Brian. And next one. This is a little hard. Patada de lado.
I
TJ.
couldn't hear you.
Patada de lado.
TJ, Night of the Creeps.
No.
Damn it.
Can I hear it again? Can I use my JTE rule?
Joe.
Patada de lado.
Troll Hunter.
No.
These two TJ picks were picked.
3.
Brian, just throw one out there.
I never actually heard it clearly any of the
Story.
time, so.
Everybody shut up. Patada de lado.
Police Story.
We didn't watch Police Story.
In my head, we did.
Psychic.
Oh, son of a bitch. It was a TJ pick.
I didn't even remember. Like, that's not even the movie that registered that we watched, to be honest with you.
You know what? That's just mean.
Next one is a fan favorite of ours. Casa del Lago.
Joe.
Oh,
The Lake
damn
House.
it.
Yeah. This is a 2-man race right now. 2 points for Brian, 2 points for Joe, and TJ is nowhere to be found. All right, this one's very hard, so pay attention. Desperado.
Brian.
Oh,
Fuck.
El Mariachi.
Desperado.
TJ.
Yeah.
Damn it. Mars Attacks.
All right, for the win or for the tie, Audición.
Oh, Joe.
Audición.
Joe.
Yeah.
Audition.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Tied.
I just don't really like. I think Yusef's accent's fucked up. Like, I'm more used to like a natural I think I have more of an ear for accents. So
You want a tiebreaker or you want to stay tied?
Tiebreaker.
if you got a tiebreaker, let's do it. Why not?
Sure.
And if
All right.
both of them either of them get it wrong and I get it right, I win.
I don't
Casa
agree
de
with that.
Calle.
Joe.
Yeah.
He just says his name after whatever you say. He didn't even hear
Yeah.
you. This motherfucker's
Oh,
just like,
shit.
Joe, stop talking.
I'm
He just
trying to
says
think of the
Joe.
movies. The
He's like, I'll
house.
figure it out later.
Yeah, I don't know. The
All right,
house.
you're out. Brian, you want to hear it again?
Yes.
Casa de Calle.
Roadhouse.
Yeah.
Is that real?
Brian wins.
Jesus.
All right. With that victory, how about we just go to the guy that literally did not talk the entire game, TJ.
No,
What's up?
it's not. It's not that I didn't talk. I just didn't. I mean, all right.
You suck.
I hope one of your coworkers watches this show and just, El Colorado es una mierda.
Steph is going to be super disappointed in you, dude.
Lo sienta, Yanni. So basically, every time we do these shows, guys, we all come up with a topic or subject to talk about, and we kind of do a little research beforehand. Me being me, couldn't really think of one this week, so I figured I will just challenge you guys, not really as a game or anything, but just a question off the top of the head. You guys can come off the bat. I just saw. Go.
Go ahead.
All right. Well, I just saw It Chapter 2, and for me, it was a big disappointment. I know you guys didn't see it yet, but I figured I'd just go talk about sequels and maybe like when you guys saw your last good sequel and then the last
John
sequel
Wick
that
3.
actually disappointed you. So I figured
John
I'll
Wick
start with Brian. Yeah, I mean, your brain's pretty quick, bud. But last sequel you saw that's good, and the last one that disappointed you, just the like, I don't know, our sequel's dead, basically.
No,
No, 'cause
I'd say the
everything's a
last sequel I saw was Spider-Man: Far From Home. I thought that was pretty decent. It was fine. It was a good, fun, solid Marvel movie. I would say middle of the road, but not the best, but not one of the worst. It was around the same quality level as Homecoming. So if you like Homecoming, you probably like this.
I can't believe you brought up Spider-Man, Brian.
Yeah, man, I thought we were done talking about that.
You're so
Yeah,
fucking
man.
insensitive.
I
Don't think
know,
Tom
man. It's
Holland
so
feels.
insufferable when some people won't stop complaining about other people complaining about things. It's brutal. But I'm trying to think of the last sequel that really disappointed me because I have a fairly decent radar, and I didn't get out to, I don't always get out to see as much, and so I don't like waste my my picks. But definitely one in recent memory that was a huge disappointment within the last couple of years would have been, and what kept me from seeing the most recent one would have been X-Men Apocalypse. That was a big disappointment for me. I'm one of the people who liked Days of Future Past a lot.
I agree.
And even though it felt like an ending, I knew they were going to do more, and I was willing to like follow them and do another one. And oh man, it just, it shit the bed in like every conceivable way. And like I said, it kept me away from Dark Phoenix because it also looked like another dumpster fire. So
They also
it
wasted.
was.
Yeah, they wasted Oscar Isaac in the worst way, and also
oh yeah.
he talks about it vividly now. Where he's just like, they just put me in a giant costume where I couldn't move my head, just like the early Batman. It's just like,
It was just like a bad script too, not even the
Yeah.
visuals. Like,
Because like whether you like Days of Future Past or not, it kind of like tightened up that weird continuity a little bit, and at least like made it feel like they were all back to being. And then this was like a whole nother thing, and it was like everybody jumped ahead 10 years, but nobody aged, and it was just. And oh man, I thought the whole thing with Cyclops and Jean Grey was like I had like no chemistry between those actors in at all, and just really bad. So
cramming
that was a
in
disappointment
Jubilee.
for me.
Yes, it's a cram.
And my prediction for my future disappointment: Terminator: Dark Fate.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, add that
I
in there
know
too,
you're
guys.
both
If you
for
got
that.
one, Joe, what do you got?
Yeah, I guess that last sequel I saw that I liked would have to be Endgame.
Yeah.
Generally, I mean, there's nothing else to say on that movie.
We said plenty
Yeah.
about Endgame.
Yeah.
You
And,
can watch our live meetup where TJ dies.
yeah, watch that. Disappointment definitely would be I caught an hour of the new Men in Black a couple days ago. And not like so much disappointment, but like that movie should have been good. You have a good cast, like the concept's
It
enough.
truly was. It's unfortunate because it literally was just the first Men in Black again. Like, and that's kind of all every Men in Black sequel has been. And like, here's your opportunity to really do something. These actors, we already know they have chemistry together. So like, come on, just give me. And they were like, no, we need to establish that Men in Black canon. Like, no, just fuck that. Like,
It's very lifeless.
Stupid.
It was just like devoid of energy.
Yeah, like CGI slock fest. Just like another one where you're just like, oh, we know what we can do now, which is like computers.
And you're not even letting your charismatic actors be as good as they can be either.
Yeah.
Like it feels like your movie is holding them back,
They were boring.
Yeah.
When your best character is a badly CGI'd stand-up comedian, it's probably bad.
Yeah, that's a bad idea. What you got, Jusef?
I love John Wick 3. I don't know if you heard me yelling it earlier.
I still haven't seen that though, so spoilers.
Oh, it's he dies in the end, which is a great arc for his story. I don't know how they're gonna do John Wick 4 and the series, but he dies. Like he gets his shit. No, I'm kidding. Like no, the action's great. It does suffer a little bit of the sequelitis in the sense that everything's like bigger because it has to be bigger because they already impressed you twice. But it's
that
still
hype going,
great. Yeah, it's still it's a great fun. And the dog sequences are fantastic, and then Halle Berry held her own.
No animals harmed.
The sequel that sucked, Halloween.
Oh, yeah. Great pick.
Yeah.
I thought about that as I was saying Terminator. I was like, oh shit, I should have mentioned Halloween.
I was
glad we got there.
You mentioned that. I'm glad you brought that up. I think the Halloween sequels, even though there's nothing else yet, that is just going to be a disappointment already. And the first one
it's going to be much worse. Like the first one held on.
Just by the name.
It's going to be even dumber.
Nick Castle, who's the original Michael Myers, obviously, who plays like scenes where he doesn't have to do anything crazy, put up a video on Twitter the other day of him in the mask getting on a treadmill, which is at walking speed, with a butcher knife in his hand. I'm like, oh, here we go. The first celebrity death live on Periscope. It's like,
falls on the knife.
Trip. I was so scared, and I'm like, well, he put it out, so I guess it must be okay. And I'm like, no, it's live.
They loaded it up posthumously.
Yo,
if that happens, baby, you gotta get them clicks.
Oh God. I wouldn't know what to do.
They can't.
I'd watch it.
Movies. I was listening to recent interviews from like when they released the first one last, and just even try the shit they sold it on. I was like, no, you already had a better story in H2O.
Yeah, 100%.
Well, they made a big deal about not connecting them, and then they fucked it up because they're like, oh, now we got to get them together, and we have to find some contrived, stupid way to put them together, and that's what they did. And now they're gonna have to find some contrived way to get fucking the kid involved too. It's just dumb.
Now this is
patch in the burning base.
They use podcasts as glue. That's
Anthony
how bad
Michael Hall. Anthony Michael Hall. I mean, I gotta actually see it for that him. So I mean. But yeah, it's a great pick, Jusef. For me, obviously, I feel like the last good sequel that I saw was probably the Ape series, like legit, like throughout. Yeah. Absolutely. But it's been so long since then. Like, I mean, obviously Marvel has their picks and stuff like that. But I feel like those with
Last Jedi.
Oh, yeah, Last Jedi, yeah. That's a great one, yeah. I also was like thinking the sequel is just like the second one, but then you think about like what really qualifies as a sequel anymore at this point.
Independence Day Resurgence.
Oh,
John Wick 3.
Haven't seen it. Don't plan on it.
That was one of those ones that like people said it was so bad that I was prepared for some real trash, and it was just like mediocre. You know, I was like,
ooh, I got another one in the same vein of Halloween. The Predator. Movie.
That was basically going to be my pick. I was going to say The Predator. Okay. Yeah, no, it's great. It's a great lead into because like that movie was something I was really excited for. Shane Black, right in Monster Squad, Fred Decker. Like I just love that little like that nice little
Yeah, that one's just that's
weapon
just
of
trash. That's like,
dude, it was
It felt
I
like
recently, I think I told you guys I listened to a podcast recently where Shane Black was a guest, and he had a bit of a sinus issue going, but he was saying you could tell that he was just like, yeah, I'm done with like superheroes and big
dude.
like sci-fi CGI shit for a while. Like I need to get back to like
Dude,
making movies like
Nice
Nice Guys and stuff. Nice Guys is
Yeah.
amazing. It's so
It's not
good.
even like the
I
writing.
prefer it to Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. I actually think Kiss Kiss Bang Bang's a little overwritten.
Yeah,
Like
I like
the
it.
dialogue's a little bit much, but I think Nice Guys is excellent.
I just feel like Ryan Gosling and Crow do a better duo than
oh yeah,
and
that's perfect.
Robert Downey Jr. Not to take
I
anything
think
away,
they're-
I think that's
they're
like
better
the
act-
best performance.
Yeah, well, they wasted a great cast.
They're better actors too.
Yeah, they wasted a great cast, but I pretty much like they didn't have anyone strong enough. It was all B or C list characters from different movies. You got the Game of Thrones kid, you got the guy from Logan, Thomas Jane
Oh
throwing
yeah,
it, Michael.
it felt like a bunch of short movies. And
Yeah.
then he just pasted them together,
Yep.
and
Studio
it never
notes.
made for a cohesive.
And you get the kid from The Room being autistic
Oh,
for
yeah.
what reason? I don't know.
Because autism is a superpower, you guys. Mercury.
He
Did you ever
was-
see Mercury Rising?
Because he was in Wonder.
I actually feel like
I mean, you seen Miss Midsummer?
Not
not
yet.
yet.
I went on to.
No, I want to see Midsummer. I haven't seen it yet.
I'm gonna spend some money on that.
I'm
one. I
not
don't see
recommending it. So with that said, how about you, Brian? What you got for us?
Well, do we want to talk about Joe's news topic at all?
it.
Yeah.
Let's go to that. Then go,
Bring
Joe.
it up naturally, but you know,
That's probably, I felt pretty natural.
Oh, good.
yeah.
Jeez, I just want to talk, and I'm sure y'all were tuning to listen. They plan to remake Face Off, and that is a
Are you gonna
non.
recast it?
No.
Everybody was having fun with like casting ideas, but we all know that it's just terrible idea, right? It
It's
just
gonna-
definitely
yeah.
should not do it. Cannot recapture that.
No, it's a
Like-
perfect storm of the 90s craziness. Nicolas Cage, John Travolta, John Woo, and
Just like
And
you couldn't
fucking
remake
James
Roadhouse
Brown.
with Ronda Rousey, you can't remake fucking
Ex-
Face Off.
and
Spoilers.
this is actually what I think is just going to happen in Face Off. The remake is they're going to over-explain everything so much that it's going to
Oh,
take you out of the
jeez.
belief of the movie. Because that's what happens in all these
They'll
movies.
try to make the science like more like super hyper realistic
Yeah.
because that's the one thing people make fun of a lot is the science. So they'll go out of their way to like over explain it.
Mm-hmm. They're like, well, no, listen.
If it's two males, are they gonna explain how both of them had identical penises?
They did say I did see somebody suggest Aubrey Plaza as Castor Troy, and I like
I
that.
did see
That was
that.
tight.
That's
Like,
fun.
I was like, that's a tight
I would
casting.
see Child's
I-
Play. I mean,
I could
I
eat
don't give a shit. No, I didn't. Which is exactly why I'm not tainted.
Oh yeah, there you go. I know that's a
I
remake.
could eat a peach. I could eat a peach for hours. As long as that line, I mean, like, listen, there's some lines in there that just I
They
think
should
you need-
do Nick Cage and John Travolta again.
or you
I-
do it.
Give me
Why don't
a
you do a
sequel,
or
Disney live animated
Counterpoint:
version?
no, they shouldn't.
or
They're
I just
gonna
want to
do
see
it.
like if they're gonna do it, I
Throw
want to see
something
like,
in the air.
I want to see like 2 Michael Shannons.
All right.
No, I'm
How
telling you.
about I want to see. How about a Sam Rockwell and somebody?
Sam Rockwell, Michael Shannon, two type of Cage actors.
Yeah,
Let's get some
Michael Shannon's like
some POC in there.
7 feet tall
Yeah, that's
That's
what
fine.
exactly. That'll be part of
Fine.
it.
Yeah,
I'll have
they
to
need
figure out what to
friends.
do about that.
though. You're gonna get lips.
What if
So-
a dog and a cat switched faces and bodies? And
That-
Disney live animated it.
It'd make
Cats
$1
and
billion.
cat dogs.
Yeah,
You guys remember Cat Dog? I used to watch
Yeah.
that show a lot.
that's a good
Yeah,
show.
the show's awesome.
Where did that? How did that thing shit?
One of them
Mouth,
had to
its mouth.
barf it up.
Have you ever seen Human Centipede?
No, I mean yeah, but
Probably
no.
cat. Probably
I
the,
have.
like in the hairball.
Stay tuned later for TJ's pick.
Is it still on Netflix?
No, I don't think so. They took it off. They banned that just like they did The Hunt.
They're so progressive, but Kevin Sorbo can have his crazy Antifa movie. That's cool, but we got to get the Hunt off of there.
So, Brian, what else do you want to get off?
Oh, is it my turn? All right. So, because we watched the glorious Patrick Swayze this week, I wanted to talk about what movie franchise we think, current movie action franchise, do we think would have been best served with his presence had he not gloriously passed away, flicking off cancer and smoking a cigarette. So, my obvious low-hanging fruit pick that I want to take right off the table because it's going to be everybody's go-to, and it should be, rightfully so, is for him to have been in the John Wick franchise. Like, at the end of the fourth movie, he's the dude at the high table. We reconnect that Point Break energy, and we have that big fight between them. They probably kill each other. You know, they probably both die. I don't know, but so I just took that off the table because it's too easy. Obviously, that'd be amazing. So, what do you guys got? Who wants to start? I'll leave it open the floor. Who's got an idea?
Me.
Go, do it.
Now, here's a question I have. Am I getting Swayze at any time in his career in a modern-day franchise I want?
You're getting older Swayze because it's supposed to be a current modern franchise.
Okay.
But he's in like, peak physical health. Like, he either never got sick or came back 110% from being sick and is, like, even better.
So it's like current, like, Keanu Reeves.
So that's
right. Like Kurt Russell, you know what I mean? He's just always good, no matter what age.
Because if I got old school, I'm just going to put this out there. If I got old school Swayze in his prime, Point Break, goes in the way, disappears, he becomes Aquaman. But I'm going to go DC also with this one. And I'm going to go the adult Batman. Like the older Batman that's doing right now, and this isn't a movie, but they're doing this in the Teen Titans franchise and that DC Plus thing. But I feel like you replace the older Batman with Patrick Swayze with that.
Or what about older Batman in like Batman Beyond? And then you have the younger Batman,
that's what I have down, but it's not existing, so I had to go with Teen Titans. But yes, if I could do a Terry and an older Batman thing from Batman Beyond, I think Patrick Swayze. If you make Christian Bale look big in a Batman costume, you make Patrick Swayze look big. Which Patrick Swayze is already big, but Patrick Swayze has the chin.
Well, I feel like with Robert Pattinson, we're already going to get our like live Batman, so that leads you to a live older Batman.
That's all you need to do. And Patrick Swayze has the swagger, the ability to just walk into a room with his eyes and stop everybody on their heels and just you're intimidated no matter what the size is, which is we're going to get into later in the movie we're talking about. But like, he has everything you want in a Bruce Wayne without ever. I don't ever think he was ever even up for a Bruce Wayne role, which kind of blows my mind.
We don't know. I mean, they didn't really.
It's hard to believe his name wouldn't have been tossed around when they were casting Keaton because like he was just so big around then.
Yeah, he was definitely cast. He was thrown around. I think he was thrown around during Val Kilmer time.
I could see that, sure.
I could see that too. That's when he was thrown around because him and Val Kilmer are really similar.
And to see his martial arts probably at his age, which probably is better than most of the actors who have a stunt double or three, Liam Neeson, who come in there and do their thing for them. I think that if Patrick Swayze...
Liam Neeson did not have a stunt double. It just editing.
Who jumped the fence?
Who jumped that fence?
Like this, and they just speed it up in editing.
If I got a guy in a strong shoulder jacket with a
strong shoulder jacket,
a turtleneck on, it's gonna be Patrick Swayze for adult Batman.
All right,
and old Batman, not adult Batman, old Batman.
Yeah.
All right, Joe, you look like you chomping the bit. What you got for me, baby?
Yeah, I would love to see Swayze just as the villain in the Hobbs and Shaw sequel, aka the Fast and Furious franchise. He fits that perfectly. You have everyone. You have everybody walking through that franchise that was like of that generation. They're doing it better than.
He could be like the counter to the Kurt Russell character, whereas like Kurt Russell's the older on the good guy CIA. He could be like the bad guy version of that, right?
Yeah, like give me bad guy Swayze having a fucking blast and being cool, and even give a wink and a nod to him being his Point Break character, and maybe that's the villain, right? Like full circle on that shit.
Well, what's his English accent like? Maybe he could pull off Jason Statham's dad.
I've never heard him do an English
I
accent.
don't imagine Swayze
More of a
having
Southern guy.
Bodie. He's Bodie. His name is just like Mr. B.
Well, I picture him as
That's
like a
his
villain who's like all zen and like into like Eastern culture and shit, and all like
yeah.
showing up
You
in
know
his
who
gi and whatnot. Like,
You know who
The
he
white guy
will
that
be?
thinks he's Asian.
yeah, oh, and that's a total trope for an action movie. The white guy who thinks he's Asian. That's full on.
He'll be the
His
non-offensive
introduction
Steven
is gonna be
Seagal.
him at a table with acupuncture on his back.
Yeah.
I feel like it's more about
Tats,
crystals.
dragon tats and shit.
More about
Call
crystals
everybody-
now.
Call everybody brother.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Oh,
brother.
I hate
What
that
about you,
guy.
Jusef? What you got?
So I totally prepared for this. I did not remember it as you literally just said it. So we're gonna see Patrick Swayze in a swim in a wetsuit. He's like literally putting on the wetsuit. He's waxing his board in the sand. The sun is literally rising. It almost feels as if it's making itself as we see it. Like the ocean is starting to develop in front of our eyes. The sky is developing, and from behind he hears footsteps. We cut to boots on the sand. It slowly pans up. You see leather pants, a leather trench coat, Keanu Reeves with his sunglasses, the Matrix 4.
We're talking about the Matrix again.
So his Matrix is like a never-ending beach with like the perfect waves. You got to
Yeah.
bring Bodhisattva out of the Matrix and into the real world.
Knows kung
Now-
fu.
Does he win though?
You got Keanu as Neo being like, turns out I was not an FBI agent.
But where's Joe Pantaleone in all of this?
Yeah. And also, where's Gary?
He's
Just
in Bad
Gary
Boys
Busey
3.
come back. Gary Busey turns into an agent and shit.
Yeah.
That would actually
He's
be
the one infecting everybody. He's a bunch
True.
of Busey screaming in the
He goes,
corner.
True. He's
I was like,
having the
wait,
big
do
battle
you
with
die?
Neo at the end. He's like, bare hand.
who's it better to lead, Tank Girl or the girl
Just
who was
jumps from a window. I like this movie now. We should watch. Somebody should call the Wachowskis. We have an
He's
idea.
working on 4. Just make a
You know, I'm
hologram
sure
of
they're-
Patrick Swayze and put his ass in that shit.
I'm sure they have a fresh idea.
great.
Oh yeah,
Can't
it's
They
wait.
hired
definitely
a guy
not just
that-
about the money.
No. Because it's like, hey, Wachowski's, let's give you like 3 other big ass franchise and hundreds of millions of dollars and still not get returns on anything. But here you go.
Yeah.
Sounds like
I
fun.
would say one other place I would love to see Pat Swayze is like, let's expand on the Brad Pitt, Kurt Russell stuntman universe from the Quentin Tarantino movies and have Pat Swayze in that and give them like their own movie where they're a trio of stuntmen in like the late 70s, early 80s, I'd watch the shit out of that.
Is Tarantino directing it?
I'm into
Sure.
it. I'm into
Why
it.
not?
There you go.
A lot of Swayze feet.
He's got good feet. We see him a lot in Roadhouse.
Yeah.
You do.
Joe,
That's
I
an
think the
okay
topic
ass.
is yours. Are you ready to lead us
What's up,
home?
Jeff?
Yeah, baby. So with school
geez.
starting, and it seems to be every movie about teaching is just a white savior film. Either pitch me your white savior movie, or just what white savior classroom would you like to be in? It's kind of an open-ended discussion of white saviors in film to honor the teachers of America.
Only the white ones, though.
Yeah,
So
no.
I went
If
a
you
different
want to
route.
throw in Coach Carter, you can, but it's not encouraged.
Who is
Sam
also
Jackson
played
187
by
was technically a crazy person. Let's keep that in mind.
I'm gonna set mine in Asia though.
All right,
It's gonna
good
be
shot.
it's gonna be an Asian troubled schoolroom. They're just doing a lot of Tokyo drifting, a lot of drugs, and only one Asian female teacher can set them right, and that's gonna be Scarlett Johansson. She's gonna come in and just fucking put them to the test. She's gonna have a leather trench coat. She's gonna rap. She knows what's up.
You're gonna get
and
all the
set them
stops.
straight. And she's
Oh.
gonna do drifting with them, but drifting, by doing math. That
Do
way
you have
there's
a director in mind for this project, Jusef?
Bryan Singer.
I was gonna say, is there a director that we know Scarlett Johansson loves to work with?
Roman Polanski.
we can do Woody Allen, the guy that did, I don't remember the guy who did Aloha.
Jusef. This is
He's
a really
familiar. He's familiar with Asians.
This is a really important question.
Culture.
What color is her hair?
Her hair, what? Her hair's gonna be jet black because Asian women have jet
Okay,
black.
got it.
Okay.
But she's gonna do Jello face. What?
What's it?
Yeah.
All right, so Brian,
What's it called? What's it called?
You got a name for this movie?
Panda Express.
Gotcha. Okay.
Good one. Good one. I
Brian.
didn't get as creative as Jusef. I just thought, with our current culture, the way it is, and the way we're redesigning schools so they have rounded walls, so it's harder for shooters to hide. Because, like, instead of like making it harder for shooters to say get a gun, we'll make it harder for them to hide around the corner in schools. That's definitely the way to go. So I went straight to a legit killer, and I'm gonna take Tom Berenger from The Substitute. Isn't he in the first one? Who's in the first Substitute movie? Tom Berenger, right?
Samuel
not-
L. Jackson.
No, it's Tom
No,
Berenger.
that's 187.
Oh.
He makes the guy shit his pants.
Yeah, the substitute.
Is it Tom Berenger? Is that who's in the first one?
Yeah.
Because then it's Treat Williams in the sequels. They swap out.
They made
Treat
like
Williams.
fucking 8 of them with Street.
They made a bunch. They made a lot. Yeah, there we go. That's what I'm talking about.
They're always on.
Okay,
like
I'm glad I
USA.
was right because he makes a dude shit his pants. He goes to war with the gangs. It's a real. He's a real white savior in the way that conservatives think of a white savior, which is somebody who shoots brown people.
Speaking of The Substitute, honestly, not straight to DVD sequels.
Yeah.
Trick Williams kills it.
I've seen about 2 of them.
I think I have a 4-pack because I just wanted the one movie, but you just had to buy them all. There's no way
they
to.
force you on.
They're like, no, you will take these sequels.
The price is still low, but take it.
Now that 4-pack is like $90 on Amazon.
Right.
All right. Yeah. No, that's a good pick. But you're right. That's like the death wish, the falling down.
Right. That was the response. That was like scared white people's response to like inner city crime. It's like, we should shoot children. That seems to be the logical. Then they lucked out and children started shooting each other. They're like, we didn't have to go ahead. We didn't have to do that.
As long as we give them the guns.
Right. We'll just keep the guns and ready access. Turns out they'll do the work. Tight.
TJ,
Yeah, very woke. Very woke.
this is a touchy episode.
Well, I was just saying, speaking of,
Well, it's 9/11, right? I mean,
Yeah,
everybody's raw.
9/11.
We're all wearing black, red mourning.
Well, I think, then in that case,
episode.
yeah, I feel like I have the perfect answer. Speaking of school shootings, basically what will happen is a lot of people on Twitter don't think I'm a very smart guy. Maybe I should go back to school, uneducated here and there. So I'm going to go back to kindergarten. And there's only one guy you want to protect you. The one guy that will have your back with a ferret. You might sleep with a 3rd grade teacher. You never know. But at the same time,
you may or may not have a tumor.
Yeah, if I'm stuck in the classroom, a bunch of 5-year-olds, I'm going to throw them out the door. Protect me. It's going to be Arnold Schwarzenegger. Kindergarten cop.
Kindergarten top 2.
Yeah. Well, also another more
everyone's favorite, the one everybody remembers.
Yeah, it was actually really bad.
What's his name? Something Kimball.
Mr. Kimball.
John Kimball.
John Kimball.
So I mean, Kindergarten Cop. He's got the best
Richard
one-liner.
Kimball is that. Wait a minute, that's the fugitive.
Is it?
You might still be right. I'm just saying Richard Kimball's also the fugitive.
You did not eat my cookies.
Or if you want to learn how to play instruments, Jack Black.
Is that a School of Rock? How many years did it take him to make Richard Linklater to make School of Rock? Those kids were in high school by the time they finished, I think.
Oh, did you hear about that shitty ass project he has coming? He's gonna take 20 years to make a movie now.
Yeah, like it's pretty
fucking Jonah Hill's
presumptuous to think
sister.
anybody's gonna give a fuck about you in 20 years, Richard Linklater.
How old is he?
He's gonna be like 85 when that thing is supposedly done, and you know what's gonna be even worse about it is you're gonna get updates on it.
He's gonna
Yeah.
die and win an Oscar.
Oh, I'm not looking forward to 20 years from now.
It's gonna die. He'll die before it's finished, and then like somebody who's a famous director at the time will finish it, like Steven Spielberg did with AI with Kubrick. He'll finish it, and then everybody will be like, "This sucks."
The guy who did Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yes, the masterful editor of Bohemian Rhapsody.
So yeah,
Who's
Arnold
directed real
Schwarzenegger,
good.
Kindergarten Cop. That's the
Love
teacher I'd want.
All right, dog.
Thing.
I
It was
have
very-
my
Everybody's
pitch.
gonna have seizures after that one.
It's very intriguing.
I got my pitch. A unique relationship develops between an eccentric, reclusive novelist and a young, amazingly gifted scholar athlete. After the novelist discovers that the young athlete is also an excellent writer and secretly takes her on as his protege, they develop an unlikely friendship. As they learn more about each other, they learn more about themselves, and ultimately, with the help of his new mentor, the basketball star must choose the right path. Starring Jason Statham and newcomer Leetta Wright. Finding Fletcher. You're the woman now, dog.
Oh, but you got to do it. But it's wrong. You got to do just the Statham accent, which is more like, "Oh, you're the woman now, dog.
You're the woman now, dog.
The woman now, dog.
Oi, it's the Meg."
Potato.
Which, by the way, is where I thought Jusef was going with his Patrick Swayze pitch at first. He was like putting on the wetsuit, wiping up his board, goes to ski, and then the Meg eats him. I was like, oh.
Oh, it's me.
Oh, that would be
It's
tight.
me, Jason Statham. You know why they make bad socks? You wear them inside out.
Do you
It's
know
the only
how
scene I
much
remember from that fucking movie.
it would have been
Finding
so much better if Swayze was fucking in the Meg?
Oh, yeah, he would have been perfect for the Meg.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Swayze and the Meg fucking is.
So anyway,
Literally having sex with a giant shark. That's what I'm talking
in an ordinary place, he found the one person to make his life extraordinary. That's the subtitle.
I would say, oh, you're still going?
Also, if you want to give yourself a laugh, watch the Finding Forrester trailer. It's
Classic.
It's just a really funny trailer.
Who's in that?
Anthony Hopkins.
Ooh.
No, Sean Connery.
Sean Connery.
They play chess a lot, right?
Yeah, Sean Connery and I forget the kid's name.
Oh,
Omar
Sean
Epps.
is fine to smack a woman with an open hand. Sean Connery.
James
gotta
Bond,
flag
though, man. Let it go.
You're the man now, dog. It's literally the trailer.
You know who wouldn't smack a bitch? Dalton. He's a man that is. How about we go out of this topics and into the Double Deuce? Have a beer with our friend Dalton.
As
talk
Wayne
about-
Garrett would call it, the Double Douche.
The Double Deuce. Is that a good name or a bad name? I have to ask.
It's a terrible
Is that a
name.
good name or a bad? It's a horrible name for a bar.
All the bars in this
Honey,
movie
where
have
you wanna
terrible
hang out?
names. The one at the beginning is just called Bandstand. That's a terrible name.
American Bandstand was probably huge.
What was the G-string wet contest bar called?
I don't know if
This
there were
is-
so many boobs.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
can't remember. It had a bad name too, though. It was nothing special.
It was cool.
I think it was like in a military base, right? Because
This
there
is
was a lot of
Time
mil-
for you guys to leave.
This is probably the coolest movie we've watched.
It's
Easily the coolest movie.
It is like the quintessential, like when people talk about 80s action, this movie is like all the 80s action like tropes and shit just like perfectly compressed into like the best kind of like the balance is so good in it.
There's so many fucking explosions in this movie that don't make any sense.
I don't want to get
Oh,
ahead. Like
good.
should we just break down the plot real quick for people? Yusef, you want to just
Yeah,
kind of like give them a
let's-
rundown?
Let's break down the plot and let's try to do as chronological as we can because there's so much to unpack in this movie.
Well, I was telling
Uh,
we sit down, we're watching, and I realized how how much world building they do in the first part of the movie, like how much they establish this whole like underground idea of the cooler and the bouncer, and the thing about like him having a second car, and they kind of like tease that out. It's not like a thing they just tell you. You like see that he has a car that he just gives away, and then he's got a nicer car, and then he buys a shitty car and extra tires. Like, what's going on with all this? You know what I mean? It's like kind of slowly parsed out the information, but
this
it
is something.
building, it makes it interesting, you know?
This is something people do not, and I'm sure I've said this on this show before, do not realize about bad movies that are enjoyable to watch is they actually set shit up, whether it works or not, and it comes together in a perfect pot of ridiculousness.
My wife told me that this was on the list of like top 100 rewatchable bad movies, and I got legitimately offended because I do not consider this a bad movie. I'm like, this is a perfect movie for what it was trying to be. Like, they executed their plan to perfection.
That's the thing. It's a trashy movie, which gets thrown in as like bad movies. Like, you know what I mean?
It was being trashy on purpose from like the get go. You know?
Like, this would have a double bill with like something like Over the Top.
Yeah, or Under Siege.
Under Siege, or
all right. So we follow Dalton, who's played by the late great Patrick Swayze. He is the coolest, the baddest, the sexiest, the calmest, badass motherfucker who happens to be a bouncer / manager / cooler.
But is also somehow,
he has a PhD. He owns a Mercedes that has wipers on his headlights. You guys remember wipers in the headlights? That's great. That's when you know that you have money. He is recruited out of a bar that he recently, I guess he recently reestablished.
Right, he was like the cooler of that bar, so we probably cleaned it up and helped them get on their feet.
He cleaned that up. So he's moving on
Tillman, played by, what's his name? Kevin Teague, who plays a great movie asshole. A lot of cast in this movie super great. Also, Kevin Teague.
So he drives down to the bar called the Double Deuce. It's located in a town where multi-millionaire.
Wait! You just skipped over. We need to talk about how much money Dalton gets paid.
I'm just setting up the plot. So we
okay, I thought we were going chronologically, and I'm getting worried. But okay, we'll come back.
I'm just gonna set up the plot. He drives into this town, and he instantly becomes enemies with the multi-millionaire who lives across the lake from his farmhouse apartment. Because he runs the town and he wants to make things right, and part of being a cooler is making things right. And things just escalate from there. Like, shit goes down. So now we can just go into the details.
Well, I was going to say, the director, Rowdy Harrington, described it as, he was like, in the 80s, they weren't making Westerns, so we kind of made like an undercover Western, where a guy comes to town, gets overly involved with the local politics, and has to kind of come to the rescue.
Except with a lot more tits.
Yeah, there's a lot of tits in this.
There's like
and
rock hard
and roll
80s
music.
fake boobs in this movie that just like Motley Crue funded.
Oh, may I fast?
Fake tan and a lot of hairspray. What's up to you?
I'm not gonna spoil anything, but this is, as I've told you guys, this is the first time I've watched this movie completely unedited, not on AMC, not on TNT, not on TBS, and they cut obviously a lot of the stuff out. I'm watching this, I'm like, oh, I didn't see any of this. So
is this the first time you saw Patrick Swayze's ball sack?
Yes,
just the back of his ball sack.
He saw it.
Just a little brain.
I was like, I love, like, her breath is taken away by Pat Swayze's butt.
She's a
bed, and
doctor.
she is like, she drenches the carpet. She is just,
dude. I'm skipping right to it.
No, don't do it. Don't do it.
Save it. On a fireplace brick wall.
I have something to say about that.
All right, she's a doctor.
You bony ass Kelly Lynch. I mean, that hurt.
She is a medical professional.
Against the wall.
She's just like, yeah.
I was talking to my mom about that scene, and she had a hot flash. All right.
Now, against the wall sex requires a lot of core, hamstring, and thigh muscles. And even Dalton couldn't get through it. He was like 5 pumps in, and he was like, "All right, we're going to the bed. This is too much.
He did.
I'm
To be
tired."
fair, his thrusts. He was thrusting with power. He was putting in the work, like no doubt.
I
He
am
put
so
more trust.
lonely.
Let's go back. Let's go back though. I want to
So,
talk about
rewind the
what was
clock.
Dalton's
Rewind the
pay
clock.
scale. He has an initial. So when the guy
It was
he basically
5,000 up front and
basically
500.
Tillman, the guy who owns the Double Deuce, like has this shithole bar. He came and he got inherited some money. He wants to make his bar classy. He's got money to remodel and shit, but Dalton, he gets like a down payment up front of how much? 10 grand, something like that.
Five.
I think it was
Five.
5,000.
Yeah.
And then he gets 500 a
a
day.
night.
Yeah, he's raking in money to do nothing.
Yeah.
And medical expenses.
Oh, and he gets all the
Dude.
medical paid. And then he goes and
he's
rents
not
that
doing
place from
nothing.
Emmett for $100 a month.
He
He's really good.
is making bank.
No shit.
But
You know
It's
what?
also
he's not just doing nothing. Didn't you like that undercover
No, he just
boss
put his
scene
life in danger for
where
sure.
where he just goes in and he does like his undercover boss shit and he's just looking around and seeing everything that's wrong, and then he starts firing everybody. I love that.
I
love that.
love too
Oh, it's
how
so good.
everybody knows him. Like, not only is there this underground, like,
Is
cooler
there a database?
culture, but he's fucking famous. Like, everybody who works at the bar has heard of him.
but not
Yeah,
only
they-
Is there
that,
a
like
database and
they
like a
telegraph
ranking?
his-
What's the scale, the rankings? How are they doing the rankings? Because they were like, no, I don't want spoilers. Sam Elliott is here, and he's even
Wade
hotter
Garrett.
than Patrick Swayze. But he's like, oh, Wade Garrett's like the second. You're the
Yeah.
first. What's the
Well, I
rank?
always thought that
Like
Wade
number
Garrett
3.
was just like past his prime. It's like Wade Garrett had been the Dalton at one time and he
Well, he was
trained
one-
Dalton, but now he's like kind of on the tail end of his career. He's doing shittier bars now. He's not doing the big money joints anymore.
You know,
Like,
you know what's humorous about that too is all the comments they make about like, oh, I thought you'd be bigger,
yeah.
Yeah.
and then like Sam Elliott is also another top cooler, and
Yeah.
he's smaller.
yeah,
He's
he's like
huge.
even skinnier.
Or I should say he's just like leaner. Like he's
Also,
not.
Terry
yeah.
Funk looks enormous in this movie. I always thought Terry Funk's a professional wrestler, and like he's like normal size for a professional
Wait a
wrestler.
minute,
But when he's in
wait
a
a
movie
minute,
with
Brian.
normal size humans, you forget
Brian.
how fucking big he is.
Wait,
Yeah.
okay. Now I'm getting real fucked up right now. So you're telling me the guy in the very beginning when Patrick Swayze goes to the Double Deuce for the first time,
Yeah.
in green no sleeve shirts is Terry Funk.
Hell yeah, that's Terry
I
Funk.
knew he was
Chainsaw
familiar.
Charlie, baby.
My
Dude, didn't
God,
you see the
that
Jerry
is
Curl?
beautiful.
That's him.
Dude.
All he
I've
does
seen-
during the first fight is pick dudes up over his head
Yeah,
and then
it's
throw
so-
them.
Oh, that's incredible, man. I've watched
And he's
him.
got
How
his
much?
jeans tucked into his white cowboy boots. It's so badass. I
so
love it.
Good.
What do you think was the budget for the breakaway glass in this movie?
Oh God, so
Everything breaks. in this
I mean,
movie.
just the bottles that are whipped at Jeff
Yeah.
Healy.
Yeah.
Like, you gotta
It's just-
like. If I'm an extra in a movie, I want it to be a movie where I get to whip beer bottles at a blind dude. That seems pretty tight.
This is what would
that blind kid's fucked.
this is what made
Oh,
me
and
fucking.
he's surrounded by tail up at the bar at the end of the night.
Yeah.
Count for days on that guy.
This is what made me crazy about that fuck watching this shit too, is all of the bottles and everything break, and I'm just thinking, man, do they just have like a retainer to restock every stool, every glass in this
Oh,
place
yeah.
tomorrow?
Yeah,
Like, they should be
that's
using
supposed to
red
sweep
Solo
up the
cups.
eyeballs at night.
Well, I was gonna say, one of the best parts about this movie is the build up to actual Dalton's first action, because in the very beginning when he's at the bandstand, tricks the guy outside and basically does the like
Yeah,
get him outside, make sure he gets angry, and then just walk back inside. Then you finally get him going against the dude with the knife at some point, and then everyone's like, "Did you fucking see that?" Like because the
But yeah, he
Legend of
breaks
Dalton-
his face on the
Yeah.
table.
Yeah, it's just like the Legend of
everybody.
Dalton.
How many times does Dalton get a knife pulled on him in this movie? Like
He gets a
7
full-
times.
He gets a
Gets stabbed
foot
like
knife
4
pulled
times.
on him. That's
I
my
didn't
favorite
think they-
scene.
Yeah, I didn't think they used staples back in the fucking 80s like that.
It didn't. She's not a real doctor.
Kelly Lynch said she
I
spent
have
like
a qualm about her
like
hair
weeks
though.
in an
because
ER and even
in her
learned to do
intro,
stitches, and then found out she was going to be doing staples and was pissed because she had learned to do these really nice stitches.
Oh, really?
Based on the DVD, extras Kelly Lynch seems fucking cool as hell. By the way.
Oh, Kevin, she's a cool lady, but she has way too much fake tan on. But
That's exactly
she's
what she said. She was
introduced.
like, I think we were on a quest to get my hair as white as possible and my skin like as brown as possible.
She's a
They
doctor.
She's
achieved it.
introduced
They
with
did
a
it.
nice. She's introduced with a nice French braid. She looks
I was
beautiful with the glasses. And then the rest of the movie, she looks as if she got prepared in front of like a jet engine.
Well,
And
it
her
looks like
hair
she's
is like
competing
like
with Swayze. It's like she saw Swayze's hair and was like, "No, I can do that. I can do one better."
She looked just like someone from the Jersey Shore, and you know what? I'm into it. So,
Oh, hey, no disrespect. She was gorgeous in this movie, and I really, unfortunately, her character isn't. Even though she's a doctor, she's still not much more than like a prize to be won. You know what I mean? I wish I could say that she had like a character,
well,
really, but she
she's
doesn't.
Red's niece.
I have something to say about her in the end, but I don't want to skip all the way to
It's
the
all
end.
right. You
Like,
can wait. We can wait.
yeah, we can wait. Oh, can I mention
Let's see.
something real
So
quick?
he's had his first. He kind of like gets in. Oh, we didn't talk. I want to talk a minute just about the rules. His rules. The famous one is obviously be nice, but I want to talk about the first rule because it's like stay calm and don't overreact and always keep an eye on everything. It's like one rule that's like a million different things. If you break down what he
The first
says,
rule is like
it's like
the first rule is like
oh,
do
well,
your
just
job.
learn to read people, and like that's some one simple thing you can just do.
I like how all of them just start looking at him, like, and he's like, it's like you're not doing your
Yeah,
job.
he's like,
You're you're not paying attention to the situation. If you're constantly looking back at Dalton, what did I do?
But it's like, yeah, I love when they're like looking at Dalton. Dalton's like, do something.
I thought that one guy was Sean Bean for a minute, for a while. Like when I first saw this movie, the one like guy who's always in on the fights, I always assumed he was Sean Bean.
I like the bouncers that are working there. You know, you got the kind of heavy set guy,
Chubby, are you saying?
the dude who looks like he was probably like a high school or college wrestler, and then like just got this job because he couldn't do anything else. And
Yeah.
then you got the guy you're talking about, the square-headed dude, the kind of musclier guy.
Yeah.
And then there's another dude who's in good shape too, but he gets fired for banging an underage girl who got in with a Sears
Jesus.
card.
Yeah, that was an intense scene.
That was a lot. And they were like, just this was her sex. They were like,
That was like a striptease thing.
He says,
Yeah,
you're gonna be my regular Saturday night thing, baby."
We're gonna make this work. And also when he gets punched in the face and he's so upset, he's like, anyone got a mirror? Give me the mirror. I would say like the firing, the way Swayze comes in is fucking incredible. He's just like, you're out of here for selling drugs. You're out of here for fucking working the till.
It's in one night he already picked up all the different shit that was going on. Like,
oh yeah, and then he does like a Rain Man bit with the bartender. He's like, you're based on my estimates, you're like deducting 150 a night.
I thought what I found impressive on that was that like the bartender had that good of a system where he was like that meticulous. He was taking like a buck off one in every 6, and like you know 2 shots off. I was like, damn, because that dude seemed dumb as shit.
Also, yeah, the classic Swayze move with most of his movies is he has a great love interest, which you talked about. But they trick you in the beginning because you see the one blonde who comes up mid-lock. You know,
the helmet.
You don't know yet she's a part of Wesley's
right.
thing.
She's like Brad Wesley's trophy.
Yeah, but you don't know, so you think that's the
firing the bartender is also the thing that gets Dalton on Brad Wesley's radar at first. Like that's like the first thing that happens because he comes back with a couple of Wesley's boys to be like, I'm staying, you're going. You know?
How much
other time again he gets a knife pulled on him?
Swayze shouldn't have the authority to have fired the bartender.
He runs the whole show. That's part of the deal he makes with Tillman. He gets to run. You want my service? You got to give me all full control.
Yeah, bar operation.
I got to be the full-on manager. That's what he's doing.
I want to see like Dalton, the part you don't see where Dalton has to like fill out the food order and shit.
Yeah,
doing the truck when it comes in.
What do you mean we spent this much on pickles?
I also love the fact that I'm gonna not skip ahead, but there's this weird point where he's only drinking black coffee while he's working, But then at the one point, once Sam Elliott comes into the scene, he's drinking fucking high life like it's fucking nobody's
Hell yeah,
business.
so this boy's there now. He's got to
Yeah, I
get
was
on.
like,
It's
oh,
doing
God.
business though. It's doing business
Yeah, it's
out.
all business, yeah, type of thing. But it's like you're in a bar all night, like you're fighting. You might as well have a nice little capper at some point.
I love the scene where the farmer is just staring at Patrick
yeah.
Swayze's oiled body.
Doing Tai Chi.
Beautiful.
Yeah, and he just
He's
laughs,
like,
he has a chuckle.
We haven't talked any about Ben Gazzara either. We need to talk about Brad Wesley because I do
incredible.
feel like this is in a shared universe with Big Lebowski, and like this is how Ben Gazzara ends, and like he like goes from being Jackie Treehorn to like being Brad Wesley. That's like the next step for him.
That whole scene, him driving down the road in his Mustang, like singing
oh
the
yeah,
song, going
Nothing
fucking
is-
swirls.
Nothing fucking sums up that character better than the one line, "J.C. Penney is coming here because of me."
Because of me.
That's the
That
best
is, like,
thing. I was
the
like, that's
easiest-
all you need to know about that character.
He has the best
that's
facial
the most
expression.
80s line ever. He's like bragging about JC fucking Penny.
Hell yeah.
Brian, I need you to answer me this question since you are a historian of this film.
Oh,
Why is Keith David fourth billed but in one scene?
Yeah, see, I wish I knew because he doesn't come in till an hour, which is right at the same scene where Sam Elliott comes into the movie proper. And then like you see him fighting in the background. He's a bartender, but he also seems to like throw down when they need an extra hand. But he barely has any lines, and this would have been right around within a year or two of They Live. So like we know he's doing his like
Well, he's fourth
fights and
billed.
stuntman shit. Yeah, I have no idea. I don't know enough about it. I watched my DVD came with it's got Rowdy Harrington commentary, which I didn't listen to this time. It also has Kevin Smith and Scott Mosier commentary.
Why?
Which I know. At
That's
the time
weird.
when I bought it, I was like, "Oh, that's cool. I like those guys." And then I listened to it. I was like, "These dudes don't know shit about Roadhouse. Like, I know more. Like,
Is
they
it
don't
like a
know
riff
anything."
track? Is it like a riff track
Yeah,
essentially?
kind of. Only they're not that funny because they're just like, you know.
I
Wow,
love the fact
so they've
that,
been letting Kevin Smith be
It was in that same era where like Kevin Smith was on the commentary for Donnie Darko and stuff too. It's like it was kind of like right as he was getting into podcasting and doing his like stand-up
He just
shows, his storytelling
Well,
shows.
yeah,
He also did some commentaries on
I'll
certain
say
movies. Yeah.
this. Kevin Smith also was like, not meaning this has anything to do with this. He was like one of the pioneers of like commentary on DVD track, on movie
Oh,
track.
I listened to the Kevin Smith commentaries
So
a lot in my early 20s.
Well,
like
honestly,
a lot
like,
didn't have them, and then although weirdly enough, he was really against DVDs.
no, I was gonna say like commenting on the credits thing. I think the best part about '80s movies is they do all big billing, all big billing, all big billing, and then at the very end, like after they get off to like the fourth, like you were saying, Keith David, they'll go end. Sam Elliott is like the
Yeah.
very last one.
The and credit is like
And-
being second
Yeah.
top billed. It's like a special
Yeah.
thing, you know.
They don't do
or
that.
like featuring or
Yeah,
with, you know, you get like
And introducing Alyssa Milano. Name that movie.
You don't get that anymore.
oh, Commando, baby.
Yeah,
But like,
yeah.
I have a theory though.
I'm ready.
Elliot is full on hitting on the doctor, like testing her with his immense sexual energy and his pubes to see if she really loves Dalton. Because I would have fucking picked Elliot
Yeah.
over Patrick in a second. Like
this-
he's
Yeah,
like,
like I'd have been like,
caressing her.
actually, you know,
hair.
Wade Garrett's gonna give me a ride home, and by ride I mean
Yeah.
I'm gonna get told.
This
Yeah.
This movie had a pubes to minute ratio more than I've ever seen.
It's funny.
It was great.
No, I mean,
Like I was like, show me another star.
well, I just love the almost Dick Tracy-ish the henchmen where they all have their own little like thing. We have the
Yeah.
giant guy. You have the same guy you see every once in a while with the knife on his boot. Then you have the hardcore guy, which you eventually get to the insane scene with where they're fighting at the bar. It's hard to not jump ahead.
We can talk about Jimmy. Jimmy is one of the best henchmen in all of movies.
The
And
big
he's
guy.
got one of the most classic henchman lines in all of movies.
Oh, man.
And they have a great fight too. I think that like obviously with the way fight choreography's gone in the last years, like this movie it feels its age, but I think the fight between Jimmy and Pat Swayze at the end is tight. It's good.
Brian,
it's
It's the most
please
gift
tell me you don't
related.
mind, he says.
What? Oh,
Please
it says I used to fuck guys like you.
Yeah, I never knew. Boom. So basically, again, I never saw this movie unedited. I didn't know that line.
Oh, that line,
from
man!
this
That's
fucking
like
movie. I'm
great.
sitting there last night at like 11 o'clock. I'm like, this is where that fucking line came from? Genius. I'm in. I used to fuck
And
guys
he said
like
it, and he says it in the ear, like very intimate
it's
too.
sensual.
So
It is
genuine.
like you definitely get the impression that like he's up for more.
Yes.
Oh yeah,
Genuine.
He's ready for
he wanted to get his throat ripped, but with his dick. You know?
Again,
I was gonna say,
My
I
whole
want to say
thing.
even earlier in the movie, there's a line where Jimmy says something like "his ass is mine," and I was like, that takes on a new meaning
Yeah.
when you kind of like
It
really
really
delve
does.
into it. Like,
And that's the whole thing, like that when they fight for the first time, and you kind of see that Swayze and him match up, and Brad Wesley pulls his gun out, shoots up. He's like, "All right, we're good." He knows that fucking Swayze would probably kill him, but there's that whole part. Again, I didn't see this movie unedited, where the guy who I think was Sean Bean in the beginning does like he killed a guy once, that does the throat thing,
yeah, just throat rip, yeah.
and then he does it in front of Kelly Lynch, and you're just like, he literally just ripped the dude's throat out.
Kelly
And
Lynch all goes into the
around,
water. She's
nobody
like,
around
"Doc,
me.
do no harm." She has to try to save that dude.
How do
And
you,
also,
like-
that's a great scene where she runs right into the water for him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, and she gets really over that whole ripping the man's throat. And
she's
then goes
mad,
skinny
but at the
dipping
end,
in the
they skinny
lake
dip,
where
so.
the body was laying.
And then
she-
leaves
no,
it.
And before that, no. And before that, she witnesses 5 people just shooting a man in front of her. One of them, her uncle. But yeah, let's go fuck Dalton in the lake where he ripped the throat out. She's a psychopath.
He
Real quick,
He's a
contemplates.
psychopath.
He
Real quick, before we
contemplates
talk
doing it
about the
again.
climax, I wanted to ask
He like
TJ
looks
and
at his
Youssef,
hand.
you guys, what did you think about Wade Garrett's leg check game? It was pretty good, right? He was leg checking.
Well, that's what I'm saying. He had that
I
limp.
love.
Every time he fought, he had that limp. So like
Yeah,
he's sitting
well, I like
there,
the way
he
he
doesn't
puts his
limp.
one hand on his knee and he's like all crotchety, but it's like he's doing that country dumb thing where he wants you to think he's a weak old man.
Yeah, that
Dude,
hit.
I love literally the first punch is a nut punch. That's his
Yes,
first
Hell
punch.
yeah.
It goes
He
down.
drops big dude with a
with the
nut
knee.
punch and then kicks him in the knee, like pops dude's kneecap immediately.
Yeah.
It's so good.
The
Like,
big
that
giant
hurts, right?
guy's like, yeah, the big giant guy that I'm pretty sure played Herman Munster at some point. He didn't, but it
That
just looked
dude's
like,
enormous, right?
yeah, he's like, what do you want to fight, cock dick? And he's like, well, I'm not going to show you my dick, am I? I'm like, wait, that was 3 cocks and dicks and one. Okay, cool, do it. And he punches him in the dick. I'm like, that's 4.
There we
I
go.
love it. Yeah.
What was with the whole Buick joke? Turning fuck into Buick.
I love that joke. I want
That's
to
a
take
good
2
one.
colored
That is
pens
good.
and do that myself.
And also,
get that tattoo, Brian.
well, I was gonna say
Hilarious.
the
With
way
2
that
different colors of ink, like
the way Tillman actually go, because he gets from the beginning of pulling in Dalton, he's like, hey, I'm trying to make this bar thing, and you see the evolution of the actual bar, and then they had guys end up in the red fucking collared shirts, and like they had the outside
the chicken wire comes down.
Yeah, it's all done. The Healy band's
in a
fucking
town
rocking.
in a town where there's 1 bar, 1 outer shop, and 2 houses. There's a shit ton of people in that bar, though.
Tons,
right?
Like we've
But they
never
do
seen
that-
that.
No, wait a minute. There's a pretty big crowd when Brad Wesley runs over dudes' cars at the car
Yeah,
lot
yeah.
when he like
Workplace,
monster
yeah.
trucks.
I guess
There's
they
a
live
pretty
under
big
the
crowd there.
Well, I'm pretty sure they're trying to echo, because when you first introduces Dalton in the beginning, the bandstand is packed. Like there's people everywhere, and there's just 2 people who have an issue, and literally they just go back to the very beginning and just stack the thing with basically probably the same people to show you that his cooling effort has pulled off. And he's like, should I stay? Should I? It's actually great storytelling, which is insane.
Oh yeah, and the stunt work is great. Like the car
it's so
flipping
good.
and exploding in the air.
I was
Like,
thinking, I love
it's
the
interesting.
scene where Dalton or where Kelly Lynch is yelling at, and she's like, "And who's gonna save her from you?" And then boom, they hit that explosion. Like that explosion is perfectly timed, right over her shoulder, and that's not a special effect. I mean, you had to actually have that explosion happen at that. Now, there's no way he carries Emmett unsinged ass out of that house
Yeah.
that is like totally engulfed in flames.
But I've always laughed at Swayze's dancer-esque jump from the window.
Yeah,
He
he
goes
like
from the window like this. He does like a ballet thing.
Again, older Batman, beautiful.
it's
Could you
similar to
imagine?
when he does kind of a dancey run and jump when he takes Jimmy off the bike right after that too. When he like kind of comes off the edge, he's like prancing through the. He was a dancer, you know.
Yeah. I was
Again,
thinking,
some of the best explosions
this
you'll
is
get
coming
on
off
film.
Dirty Dancing. I was watching it with my wife last night actually, and towards the end, like all this crazy shit is happening, and I looked at my wife and I was like, "How the hell are they explaining this bullshit to the blind kid? Like, there's so much shit going
So
on.
much shit going
How
on.
the
I
hell did
love
they
the way they
explain
use
this
him.
to
He's
the
the
blind
like
kid?
when Sam Elliott finally shows up and they have the fight and everybody's like, "What?" He's like, "Ladies and gentlemen, Wade Garrett." So good. Because
His
you know
name
somebody had to tell
is
him. It was like some old dude just showed up. He's got like a
Like,
ponytail
oh,
and shit. Oh, it's
it's
Wade.
like I
Let me
know
say.
that.
Let me tell everybody though.
He sensed it. He sensed it.
I mean, obviously,
He's like Daredevil. He's got like he could smell Sam
Yeah,
Elliott's
he's
pubes, so he knew it was
Yeah,
him.
we talk about the 15 minutes of like the best part of this movie is Sam Elliott, and the worst part is within 15 minutes you have the woman from the beginning, which you think that Dalton's gonna fucking smash out, and then she ends up stripping on top of the bar to like cause a scene, and he pulls his hair back, classic GIF.
Oh yeah.
And that's
Yep.
after she initially hits on him and then he goes to Brad Garrett's house and we see that she's all beat up. So Brad
Yeah.
Garrett beat her up,
Yes.
but then she still does the thing where she causes the
Everything.
scene.
Yeah.
She's committed, man.
And then we get to the
Use
unfortunate.
victim Joe.
Yeah, we get to the unfortunate
Yeah,
demise of
that's
Sam
a
Elliott.
weird-
So
Oh
sad.
yeah, that's sad.
That was
And,
rough.
oh,
And
it's a
actually,
coin
the
flip.
It's like
Talk
it's
about
like a
Batman
samurai
film.
movie or a western where the master has to die and like to really invoke the rage of the hero and stuff. Very
But that's
classic.
actually a great villain scene where he's like heads or tails. It's the girl heads. If it's him, it's tails. And then they have the whole. He's like, it's actually. That's amazing, man.
There's a lot of like forgettable villains in action movies, but Ben Gazzara is so good. He's right up there with Hans Gruber. He's right up there with the guy from Passenger 57. I think is like a top end one.
Yeah.
There's a couple of scenes in where he looks like he's straight out of Jurassic Park. Like
Ooh, can we talk about the entire scene where he watches? I'm pretty sure he watches them. Fuck for the first time
Definitely
against
watched
the
them fuck when they
fireplace.
come out to the roof.
And
I don't
then,
know if
yeah.
you see them when they were inside, but he was definitely watching when they were
He was
outside.
sitting there the entire time.
He anger masturbated to that. No
It's
spit.
like he was
just
mad, but he
died.
still got hard.
And
like.
also, here's a question
I mean,
for you
look at their
guys
body.
who've seen a lot. Did they like kind of like lean into Brad Wesley and her having a relationship at some point?
Basically what it's like the impression you're supposed to get is that he was really into her, and they don't ever say that they had a full-on relationship. They say that when
he was a stalker.
she left town to like go to med school, he lost his shit.
Gotcha. That was a weird moment. I'm like, he's like 59.
She says she was married before too, but they never say it was Brad Wesley.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it could have been him. No.
Oh no, Joe, you can quiet.
They never say. They don't tell us.
Is Joe falling asleep?
No, man, I'm just listening.
I'm just here having a good time. Did you watch the movie, Joe?
Yes, I did.
I want to talk a little bit about the finale where it's like clearly Ben Gazzara had in his contract that he didn't want to go out like a bitch because Pat Swayze like handles these dudes no sweat. He tears through all the bad guys like paper, but then it comes to old ass Ben Gazzara, and he shoots him in the shoulder, and he's hitting him with a stick, and it's like you're supposed to feel like it's competitive, and then it takes 4 shotgun blasts to take him off his feet. Like, come on!
All these movies are though,
and great blood.
Yeah, but this dude wasn't wearing a chainmail tank top. This is fucking old ass Ben Gazzara.
That's true. That's how John Wick was too.
We could have mentioned the bear and the fat guy.
Yeah, the polar bear.
Weird bit. That's a weird bit to include in your
I just love it because like he's the only one left, and the cops show up, and everybody's like, "I didn't see nothing." He's just like a polar fell on me.
What like a perfect Power Ranger moment where like everyone just shows up who Brad Wesley did bad to and just gets their shots in.
It's so
Everybody is
stupid.
shooting up.
It's like you guys are so going to prison for murder, right? All of you.
Yeah, supposedly this movie is based on a slaying that happened in a town in Missouri, and where a dude that everybody hated was killed in the middle of the street, and nobody ratted out the killer.
Genius. That was perfect.
It was
Good,
in
yeah.
in broad daylight in the middle of the street, and supposedly everybody saw the killing, and nobody ratted out the killer because everybody hated him so much. That's
That's
supposedly
how I'm
the
gonna go out.
genesis of
That's
the
how
story.
That's how I'm gonna actually go out. That's it.
We're
That's how
gonna
you're
kill
gonna go
Brian.
out.
We're
Yep.
gonna live feed, and nobody's gonna rat us out.
He's gonna live stream it.
All right, how about we
Genius.
go into the rating phase?
Oh no, this is gonna be up there.
What's up, TJ? Shmo down, TJ.
Yeah, you can follow me at Ben Bateman. Basically, this movie, Jusef, your streak is alive, baby. It keeps going. It's pretty strong. Roadhouse. Ah, man, this is a strong.
I love the idea that TJ had never seen it in all its glory. When I was in
glory.
my early 20s, I was watching Aliens, the director's cut, with a dude who like grew up on Aliens, and he was seeing all these new scenes for the first time, and it blew. I picture that's how TJ was when he
I was
watched this. He was just like, "What? I've seen it in a whole new
I
light. It's like
mean,
a
I
first time
imagine
I've ever watched it for real."
the first pair of tits. He's like, "Whoa, there's tits here. What the hell is happening?" It just snowballs from there.
Holy
I'm gonna
shit! I
give
just
this
saw the back
movie.
of Patrick Swayze's nuts.
Yeah, I'm gonna give
Well,
this.
that made it into the TV cut.
I can't go 10. 10's obviously there's no way you can go higher than 10. I'm going a clean 9 on this one, man. This is up there with 9 boobies shown during a G-string contest. That
So
means someone's
Wait, that
missing.
one girl had the one boobie.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about it, but
or
it's
she
8.
went like this.
She only
Yeah,
covered the. She just showed the one.
she did that in the striptease. So I'm giving 9 out of this one. This is probably up there with probably the best of the ones we've watched.
How about you, Joe? Wake up and tell me.
An 8.7 bushes
Fucking Sam Elliott bushes.
mixture of Sam Elliott and G-string bushes.
Yo, also, would you
I don't
ever
know.
let Sam Elliott dance with your girl?
Hell no, you never
No.
see her again.
Never see her
Yeah,
again.
that's what I'm
I
saying.
would not let him talk to my mom.
I was so upset. I'm like,
I can't
what
tell
are
you
you
that he
doing?
couldn't get me.
Yeah.
Sam, talk to me. No. This movie is a blast and it's phenomenal and
Incredible.
How about you, Brian?
I mean, my cards were on the table last time when you announced this movie, but I almost feel like I shouldn't give you credit for picking movies that are like well-known favorites of mine. Like you shouldn't get extra credit for just
I
like
already know that you
playing
like
directly into my wheelhouse because you've nailed me a couple times here, and not just in the biblical sense, but
Ew.
hey, but this movie, in case you guys don't know, I used to be on a little show called The DVD Bunker.
never heard of it.
It's still out there. It can still be found if you want to check it out. We did a top 10 action movie episode, and this movie may or may not have made an appearance for me, so you can tell that this is up
It's
there.
blamed out.
I would give it a 9.75, and I'm only knocking it off that 0.25 because they underused Keith David. I would say that's the one glaring error of this movie is they underused Keith David. But other than that, it's literally a flawless film. Not so bad it's good, so good it's good.
Nice.
Clever.
I'm gonna give it a 9.8 nutsacks out of 10. This is a fun movie. I really like it. It knows what it is. It plays to his strengths, and it delivers on the promises of just being a balls out, literally action movie to the end.
So we watching Next to
TJ,
Kin for the next episode? Or?
Yeah, TJ, what's your pick?
Oh boy. All right. So we've been watching good movies. You know what I mean? So naturally, it comes right back to me. Now it is fall. Well, it's going to be fall. It's the sports season. I figure we'll watch a little movie that because also we're gonna get into Halloween, we're getting into horror at some point. I'm not gonna fucking saturate.
Yeah,
it
keep
right
marinate your Halloween franchises.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, because we hit a lot of
So-
classics last year, so we need to find some, like maybe a little more obscure ones or something.
So I wanted to, before we get into all that stuff, a little sports movie. Let's get back into it. I know Brian loves this. Jusef, Joe, we're all in the fantasy football league. I want to do an LL Cool J movie, an Al Pacino movie, a Cameron Diaz movie, a Ricky Waters movie, a Lawrence Taylor.
shit!
I want to do Any Given Sunday. I want
That's
to do a classic
that's in
football.
my wheelhouse. That's Oliver Stone, baby.
Yes. I want to do something that doesn't make any sense, but makes tons of sense for us, and I want to do that. So we're doing Any Given Sunday next episode. That's a TJ one. So everyone get your
Okay.
I'm into that because that's something I haven't. That could be a bunker. That's something I haven't seen in a long time.
Steven
see-
Lilly.
All right.
All right, guys.
It's not a pick that I want to blow my brains out. Brian, where can the people find you? Football.
Oh shit! You can find me on Twitter at Hercules, a name that I still think is cleverer than people give it credit for. You can search DVD Bunker anywhere you listen to podcasts. That show still exists. There's lots of great episodes, not just the top 10 action movies. And also, guys, I just want you to know, I want you to remember, in all honesty, in all seriousness, we had a lot of fun here tonight, but I want you to never forget 9/11 was an inside job.
Fucking hate
Beautiful.
TJ, where can the people buy you at Sunglass Hut?
Yeah, you guys can find me at being the most beautiful Patrick Swayze lookalike ever. Also, you guys are on Flyover State of Film YouTube right now. Find us on Spotify, iTunes, a whole bunch of other podcast episodes. You can find me on DVD Bunker doing the Zodiac.
That was a good one.
Yep, you can find me on Twitter at TJ Jackson. Also, I'll be on the next Duncan Zed podcast talking about Mac and Me and Young Blood, which is also a Patrick Swayze.
Don't promote that. Don't be promoting that shit on here. Fuck those guys.
Also, Ryan
What's fucking
wanted to
wrong
tell
with
you
you?
to suck his balls. So, Patrick Swayze classic, Young Blood. So,
What's the sign language for that? Joe, where can the people find you?
You can find me at Chandigo1 doing Twitter things. And you can find me on the DVD Bunker every day, every week.
We did one episode with you.
And one time on Duncan Zed. Okay, so...
Stop promoting Duncan Zed on this show. God damn it.
At Why I Love Movies, whylovemovies.com. Women be shopping.
women
I
be
can't wait.
shopping.
Hey, all our fans, come out and support this guy when he starts doing live shows. Doesn't matter if he's good or not. Just fill those stages up. Buy those tickets, baby.
What's the deal with airline food?
What's the deal with
Ooh, take my
that?
white, please. Hey.
Bye.